Hey, Raindrops. Yeah. So, as you know, my podcast, Reality with the King, is on tour. And my next stop is live in New York City with the one, the only Queen of New Jersey, Teresa Giudice. Yes, on Tuesday, June 18th at the City Winery, Teresa Giudice and I will have a live conversation in front of a live audience. Make sure you get your tickets now. Log on to my website, kingdomrainint.com. Hit the tab that says tour, and me and Teresa Giudice cannot wait to see you on Tuesday, June 18th in New York City. Hey, Raindrops. On today's episode of Reality with the King, honey, I'm with the king of Summer House, baby. The king of Martha's Vineyard, the king of Shady Confessionals, honey, and the king of memes, apparently. Please give it up for the star, honey, of Summer House Martha's Vineyard, Preston.
What an introduction. I so appreciate you.
I love you, Preston. How have you been?
Life is lifing. I just literally made a post the other day that said, you know what? I'm in a season of my life where I'm getting everything I've prayed for. And I just hope it continues. Like this is a blessing, honestly. So I just pray it continues, because everybody ain't able all the time. So let's just hope this maintains.
No, listen, it will maintain. Listen, as the king of reality television, Preston, okay? My advice to you is just enjoy the ride and remain humble, okay? Because you're only as good as your last episode, honey. And the folks who love you gonna read you, child.
No, but you know what? But that's incredibly real, though. I always said this. I appreciate these moments because we know reality TV can be fleeting. So it's like, why not just enjoy the ride while it's here?
Yes. So where are you right now? Are you in your apartment?
I'm in my apartment in DC. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Thank
It's
you.
really
We've got little pictures up here. Marsha P. Johnson, James Baldwin, who else? Toni Morrison. But
is Carlos King up in there too?
You know what? But you know what? To be respectful, Carlos King may have to be underneath it. look, look, but just know you're still a king. Look.
I know it's like, listen, I was talking about be humble, just look. Honey, I'm sort of like, the Toni Morrison of reality. No, I'm teasing. Before the girls read me, child, it was a joke because they'll, if I say anything funny, they'll take
the girls are quick. The girls are quick. That's a historical. Look.
I know. I'm like, guys, I was just having fun with the Preston child. But no, listen, Summer House Martha's Vineyard is such a good show. You are so fantastic on this show, Preston. And I want to first know this though. How did you get cast on the show? Because before we started, you gave me a great compliment, so thank you for that. You're like, oh, honey, I know who you were. And just as a fan of reality TV, you knew who I was, but you never saw yourself being on a reality show. So I want to know how all of that came about too.
Yeah, I think the short of it is that, really it was by way of connection to my line brother Silas and then Jasmine. They were on the Vineyard already. I was on the Vineyard, but separate. We weren't staying in the same house. And it just happens that some of them who were already together, like Silas, Jasmine, Jordan, I think Shanice, Jason, they had took this picture and kind of it was sought out. And then I guess the casting folks were like, well, if you know anybody else who could actually be good for the show, let us know. We'll just reach out. And then, of course, Silas reached out to me and then was like, hey, what are your thoughts? I'm like, hell no. This don't make any sense. I'm not doing this. Because you have to understand, my career was like on this like upward trajectory. And you can't control a lot on reality TV. Like even with me knowing I can control my responses to certain things, there's just a lot there. And as a reality TV watcher, I know that. So I was like, all right, this may not make sense. But the more we talked about it, I had this list of pros and cons, and suddenly the pros started to outweigh the cons of what I could do and what I could contribute to reality TV. And especially with the network like Bravo, right? Something so expansive, something that I personally haven't really seen Black gay men being like on the center stage, if you will. Like a lot of times we were seen as the accessories, the friend ofs, and all love truly to those individuals. But it was just a time I think that we had to shine a little bit brighter, and that space just opened up.
Oh, baby, you opened up the space. You are, honey, you're owning the space. You're clearing the girls. Your interview confessional bites are so funny to me. And you're the thing that I love about you, Preston, I can tell that you're just authentically you. And what I love the most about you is you are authentically Black.
Oh,
You're like me in the sense that, oh, baby, me and you are like,
oh, dang, like look, it can't change. Like, listen, and that's the thing. So I don't know if you know this. So a couple friends texted me the past couple of days and was like, I don't know if you know, but one of your tweets from 10 years ago is in this Black Twitter documentary. And I was like, oh, really? And they were like, yeah. So they sent it to me, and I was like, see, this is important though, right? I'm like, because the reality is I have been very active on, like, a lot of these new people use X. I use Twitter. So like at the end of the day, it's like you probably will pull up some tweets about me being extremely Black because
yeah.
that's just who I always have been, frankly.
No, but that's what you bring to the show that I think is so refreshing. Like you said, is what you bring to the network that we haven't seen, and I'm happy that Bravo has chosen to really do a Black version of Summer House, and I think all of I call y'all kids because I'm y'all older big brother, right?
Yeah.
So I think you kids do a fantastic job at just being yourselves and representing the show, representing yourselves. I'm a huge fan of the show. What's interesting about it is you talk about Silas, which is Jasmine's husband, being your line brother, and
Right.
he, of course, was like, "Oh, bro, you want to do this show?" Now, what happened between you and Jasmine, honey? Because when you went to Jamaica, um, with Bria, Jordan, Jasmine wasn't part of that equation. So, what is going on? Because I thought the show was built around Jasmine, honey,
You
and
know what? I
and
hear
and you left her in the dust pan with the broom.
I love this question because it's always important to correct the record. Jasmine, at that point, in my honest opinion, was not really my friend in that way. She is my line brother's wife. And I don't think that's atypical for like people who have LSs and LBs. Like you're part of it. And I was in the wedding, to be very clear, but even Silas will admit that him and I were not super tight. Like we were
You
line
are
brothers.
groomsmen?
I was a groomsman. Yeah. And as someone who's about to get married next year, I can tell you that a lot of people who you pick for your wedding sometimes are not your closest of closest. It's people who are responsible. And it's people who you have love for, who you know are going to pay their bills, be on time, and actually make sure things go smoothly. And that's the main advice I've gotten from a lot of my married friends, frankly. And so, but at the end of the day, Silas and I are like, we're cool, right? But Silas will even admit we were not like this. And I think our relationship has like had its ebbs and flows, certainly. But I say that as the context to say Jasmine was really their friends. So even when we were having this like full conversation about should Jasmine go on the trip, they will all tell you, I never said no, ever, because it wasn't my place to. It's like through their connection and relationships, I built separate friendships with the people who you just named. And it just felt like it made sense to go. They had all those conversations around, oh, maybe it does make sense, maybe it doesn't make sense. First of all, I will always have issues with people who aren't introspective enough when they're the common denominator in certain situations. Everyone is not randomly not speaking to you. They may not be telling you the truth. They may not even be sharing it out loud, but they share it with me. And I'm not even talking about those women. I'm talking about a couple of the guys who also said very specific opinions.
Like
So,
what? Jasmine cool, Preston.
you said what?
I said, what were they saying about Jasmine?
I mean, that she was being different. The Jasmine that they knew before we started filming season one was different than the Jasmine that they recognized during filming and after the fact. And even in my interactions, they were different. It didn't make me dislike her, but it did make me go, I don't know.
Different,
This
like she got a big head or ego because of the show?
just moving differently. I mean, like, and I'm not even trying to be shady. This is when I'm real, like, shady and truth can coexist. Like, but I'm
Yeah.
really not trying to be shady when I say this, right? She will admit that she was buying like she bought Instagram followers. Like, it's stuff like that that for me makes it it makes me uncomfortable because I don't stop doing that, Carlos. Because I'm not trying to be shady. I'm just speaking. If the question is asked, what was she doing?
Me and you will be best friends if the age difference wasn't so
No,
crazy. Hullabaloo. No, you are my
but
type of boy.
but you have to understand stuff like that. It's uncomfortable for me because I don't understand why you're doing it. Like
Instagram followers, Preston.
we had this full conversation in the text group. All of us did. So like no one is shocked. I think people just don't want to say it. And I'm always in trouble for being the person who decides to be honest. But I'm like, we know some of us felt uncomfortable. It didn't make her a villain. It didn't make her a bad person. We were just like, this is different than the person we're used to. And that built some tension for some of the folks.
And one thing I will say, because as a gay black man myself, who have a lot of female friends, and we hang out, whatever. One thing I will say, one thing of not to speak for you, but I think you may agree with this. When it comes to the gays and the girl drama, shockingly, because I know y'all think we're messy too, and we are kind of, but not in this case. We let the girls fight.
I'm like, that's y'all stuff.
We
That's y'all
we
stuff.
we the gays, we do not get involved in the girl drama. I believe
No.
you 100% when you say that's how Shanice and Bria felt. I was like, look, that's y'all choice.
Like she was like Summer even was like, I know for some reason you're going to get blamed as the person who said no, as one of the people who trying to be messy. But I didn't say any of it. Like I was like, why are you mad at me but not mad at them just because you introduced us? Like I am a grown ass man able to build my own separate friendships as long as I'm not trashing you. Like I feel like I should be able to do that. And you know, if I had to guess, Jasmine was more upset because she felt I should have told her that I was going or fought for her. But I'm like, you didn't even fight for your best friend. So how are you putting on me that I need to fight for you when your husband is my line? But like, it just, this is why I always need to clear the records and establish friendships and what words mean and what they don't mean, because everyone calls everyone their friends. And I'm very clear about who my friends are and who they're not.
So when it comes to the Summer House Martha's Vineyard cast, who are your friends?
The people who my people I would consider my friends, meaning like I talk to them often. I feel like I can trust them, etc. would be Jordan, Summer, Nick, Amir, Noel, Shanice. And those are the people I talk to probably the most consistently. I don't talk to Bria often. I don't talk to and Alex too. Sorry. I don't talk to Bria often. I don't talk to Jasmine often. Even though we're trying to figure it out. We're trying to figure it out. And that's sad because it's me there. So that's the number. I was like, I'm missing someone, but it was me. So honestly, Jasmine and Bria are probably the two I talk to the least.
Well, the thing is, we'll get to this later in the interview because I want to not talk about it completely because I ain't trying to get you in trouble, child. But the reunion that happened. But as a fan of the show, I adored your friendship with Jasmine and Silas. And I would love to see you and Jasmine get to a good place. Do you think there's a world where you two can get to a good place?
I would love that. Like, I would absolutely love that. I just want us to start from a place of honesty and certain lack of expectations, right? I think there are certain things expected of me that she and others would not expect of anyone else. For example, I've been dubbed, right, the voice of reason, the more of the neutral person overall. But I'm like, I didn't title myself that. And so, like, y'all are putting this burden on me, and it doesn't escape me that I happen to be the only queer person in this house either. And we always feel this burden of always having to be there for everyone else. And so I'm kind of exhausted with it. And so I'm like, as long as we can actually create this environment where our friendships seem as equal as they can and not being like, well, Preston didn't stand up for me. like you don't expect these people to stand up for you either. So like, it just doesn't make sense for me personally. I pray we can get to a good spot. Like, honestly, this show really is built around friendships, and I think it would be terrible when, God forbid, when the show ends down the line. I would hate that this is what we couldn't, this is what broke us, right? Because obviously, because to be honest, right, if it wasn't for it, we would still be okay, right? And we would just go along with the get along. And so I think obviously this is new for all of us. We're figuring it all out. But I think we have to like give each other permission to not censor ourselves. We're going to do these interviews. And so it's like, give us permission to actually tell our own truth and our own side of the story. And I don't think everyone on our cast, unfortunately, allows each other to be that free.
Did you see the interview that Jasmine and I did?
I did, yeah.
How did you feel when she made it seem as if the people who developed an ego on the show were you and the rest of the people on the Jamaica trip?
Well, that more sounds like jealousy from a non-invitation. Because the reality is Jasmine didn't really know me. Jasmine and I hung out maybe 6 times before the show. Like this is why I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, honestly, like we didn't really know each other. So like, it just fascinates me because again, I am very clear about who my people are and who they're not. And I'm not about to create this like entire dynamic. Like everybody in DC, when they see me on the street, everyone talks about how I'm the same exact person who they've known for the past 14 years. And so it's like, if you think I'm going to hold your opinion higher and we haven't even spent 2 hands together, I just can't take that opinion seriously. I'm sorry.
You are so
Like, I can't.
you are
like,
walking
like you are not about to hold a higher opinion than my best friend of 12 years. Like, I'm sorry.
Would you say that when it comes to the show, was it because this is the thing, you obviously grew up watching reality television, and I'm assuming it's like the docu-series where you follow the people, go to work at home with the kids, and then that's it.
Right.
Was it difficult for you to walk into a situation knowing that there is cameras 24/7, and did that make some of you and the cast more conscious of your behavior because you knew that by any given moment there's a camera where we go up the bathrooms?
I think yes and no. So like I think the first summer when we filmed, I think it was much more like, oh crap, like I'm literally walking down the steps and I'm accidentally treating this like it's Abbott Elementary. So I'm just looking directly in the camera. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. But I think, when I started to learn that there was like mics and headboards and different things, I'm like, okay, this is a lot. But I think honestly, the second summer, which is I think why we were so activated so quickly on the first day, is I think we just didn't care anymore. I think it was just like, whatever, like people are gonna get what they're gonna get from us. Literal, my whole ass cheeks is out this summer. So I think you'll just, we let it go a little bit more. But I've also realized the truth is you can't run away from yourself, no matter how much you try. And, the real you is going to eventually come out. But that's just real, right? Like we're filming for a couple of weeks. You're going to have the good, bad, and ugly. And I think people wish they didn't show the ugly, but we all have it in us, right? It's just different things that's going to bring it out.
Yeah, and one thing we're watching this season, there's been this dialogue, and we're seeing it for the past couple of episodes about your friend Nick being too handsy. I want to get your thoughts on that because again, I'm not in the house, obviously, and that house is 24/7. But based on the show, and again, this is my opinion, I didn't think Nick came across that way unless there's just things that are happening that I'm not seeing. And I could tell that the moment he was informed of this, what I did appreciate that he addressed it head on. He's like, knock, like let's talk about it. And I thought he handled that delicately. But then we're seeing the conversation happen again. So I want to get your thoughts on it. Like, is Nick a handsy person?
Nick, so this is why I always said handsy does not mean inappropriate per se, right? The only people, frankly, who can judge that is the person who like feels your fingers on them. But that's the point I was originally trying to say to him anyway. It's like, yes, some people at that point it was Jordan and Summer who were having that conversation, which to me felt very different because they do have a close relationship. And so, for me, I was like, okay, I cannot tell Nick, but we kind of are already that honestly, that episode was kind of funny because when Nick was like, well, just do what I do nothing. I'm like, okay, I feel like this is God because I probably would have kept this in. But
I saw the wheels. It's funny. I saw the wheels turning in your head. Like,
yeah,
well,
yeah, I'm like, now that you said it, I can't just let this go. So, I mentioned it, and he was, I think, kind of floored at first, but then did respond, I think, to your point, like, well, and how he went about it. I do think Nick can be handsy. I just don't think that necessarily means inappropriate. And I think it's because Nick is very affectionate. So, like, even with me, Nick is like always hugging on me, grabbing on me. Like, that is just who Nick is. But some people don't like that. Right. And so for me, I was like, well, it's not really about if you feel that you're handsy. If someone is making a comment about it, it may be making them a little uncomfortable. And that's kind of just is what it is. I think it coming up again, which you'll see, I think it's weird actually how it came up again. And I don't feel like it was actually, I feel like it was done to be messy by the person who brought it up ultimately.
mm-hmm.
Other than that, it was just kind of like girl talk, like they were just chilling and talking. I think what led to it was not as sincere as me bringing it to Nick's attention. And yeah, y'all will see all that. But I didn't like how it came off the second time.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of the second time, Phil and Mariah, second time around, okay. Well, we saw first season with Phil, who, by the way, you know how they call some reality stars who get a second season, the second season glow up.
Uh-huh.
Your man's Phil had a second season glow up, although he
Yeah.
was a friend to the show for one day,
Mm-hmm.
and y'all booted him off the island, child. But we came back. I'm like, okay, Phil,
Right.
like
Uh-huh.
you
Mm-hmm.
look great.
Yeah.
Hi.
He
So
was always like an attractive person. That's why I'm just like, be attractive and a little less loud. Like, show some levels.
or just flush the toilet after you do a number two, child.
That's it. That's actually very simple.
What I did love though this season, because like I said, first season, obviously he appeared to be a little just like rude, again with his behavior. He was sent home, and then this season, before he got to the house, he had to kiss the ring.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He had to kiss the ring, honey, and call Mr. Preston. Uh, to apologize like Anita Baker did, honey, on her second album, track number one. About
Yes.
And you handled it well. So my question to you is this though. As y'all can see, I love the show. Okay. When you knew it was him on the phone,
Mm-hmm.
did you roll the eyes in the back of your head like y'all are not about to have this man come back and create some drama?
Yeah, because honestly, it was two things. I was like, this could be a genuine apology. No, actually, I think it's two things together. It was a genuine apology in some instance. Like the apology was a lot better than what I ever thought he could deliver, if I'm being real. So I was like, okay, like that's a start. And I knew he was trying to make his way back. Like, I am not naive. Like I was like, I know exactly what this is. But as long as we're able to have a conversation, like honestly, at that point, for me, what else do I want? Like, so long as you make a commitment to not be that shitty, pun intended, we good. Like, we're good. Obviously, the other guys didn't feel that way. But the thing is, Phil and I aren't going to be friends. Like, it's just like, okay, we can coexist. And that's kind of it. But I really believe in giving grace. Like that is just how I grew up. That's who I am. And I'm just like, so long as you didn't do anything to really harm me, we can figure it out. Like we can, even if that means just us drinking together. So yeah, I don't know if I think the apology was that genuine per se, but he didn't have to give it. And though I do believe he gave it so he could, be seen again.
If he's back season three, because obviously, honey, if there's a season three, you're back.
Yeah,
Just saying.
yeah.
Um, would you like him to be back?
I'm okay if he doesn't come back. You see, like I'm okay. Like I think there are so many single attractive black men who are not as toxic who could do a great job. Like I just
Toxic.
from what I know, but you know what? I think we all got a little bit of toxicity in us. I just think his came across a little bit quicker.
What
And
you
I
know
was
about Phil that's toxic though, Preston?
look, you know the nature of reality TV. Not everything can be seen.
Oh,
So there were there were parts where I was like, I don't like this. And it reminds me too much of like these straight men when I was growing up who made sure I was uncomfortable. And I'm like, and I don't like this.
oh,
So
really? Okay.
yeah, I mean, which was part of the reason why I even wanted to have the conversation. That's why I was like,
That would make sense.
what was this? Which frankly is why I was so frustrated with the conversation he had with Bria after the fact, because I actually told the entire house how I felt as a gay man, and I'm just like, most of y'all won't understand this, and that's no shade. Like you're not gay, so I get that some things kind of fly over your head, certain words you don't understand the meaning of, and I was like, but this makes me uncomfortable. So after the fact, when I heard the conversation, like, can't no grown ass man be that upset? I know, right? It was like, okay, now I don't trust you. Like, there
Mhm.
were so many things in that moment that made me really frustrated that I was like, all right, I'm gonna have to wash my hands clean of this and start looking at people differently.
Now I get it. Okay. Going to Mariah. Now
Mhm.
look, we all like a little,
No, tell me.
you know what?
No,
Prince Tabby?
I said, no, tell me. I said,
Oh, God, oh.
I ain't about
I
to put
said,
the words in your mouth. You tell me.
oh, a girl that's a little, diamond in the rough.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Got it.
If I
Got it.
could.
Yeah. Yeah. I got it. Got it.
Oh, listen, I will say this. Black Twitter is funny because when Mariah was sitting home, child, I was floored with the Black Twitter saying, no, this is effed up. We want her back. Team
Yep.
Mariah. Like she has a lot of supporters of people.
Uh-huh.
But I thought it was funny because I said, oh, they're like, we know what she's about, and
Yeah.
we want to see it.
Uh-huh.
When it comes to Mariah, what are your thoughts on her, and should she get a second chance, season 3?
This is easy for me, and the answer is yes. Like I, first of all, Mariah and I do have a really good relationship. And actually we're kind of from around the same neck of the woods. So like I know people like her very well. And it is the diamond in the rough, but it's also the underdog. And I really, really love an underdog. I think Mariah also, to be honest, I mean, it's her story to tell, but she was just going through a lot when we were like initially during the first summer. And so I do think it was her time to leave, maybe not for what happened, like for the situation itself, but she just needed to go and be with herself and center herself. And so I don't think she really got a chance to show just how fucking dope she is. And that is really what I would love to see. Like she's funny, she can dress, nice body, like good spirit. Like I think Mariah is truly a great person, and I really do want her to have that chance.
No, I do too. I love Mariah. I was like, no, bring her back. I was glad to see her come back too. I think Mariah has potential to be a great reality star, and I
And
would love to see her get another chance to really play with you guys.
yeah.
Would you like to have another queer person on the show with you?
I would. I would. But you know what's funny? It's not even a but. I 100% would, like 100%. But I know people, and there will try to be people who try to, of course, stir up the mess with two gay people. Like, that is just, like, again, I am not naive. So, like, I very much already know some of the things that could potentially happen. But the truth is, I get along mostly with everybody all the time. Like, that's not, like, until you are funny and you want me to be hilarious, I'm good. Like I am just an easygoing person, but I would love, love, love another queer person, queer woman, queer man, like just someone who I don't have to explain everything with, someone who I guess who can share the burden of being the accountability partner, since apparently that gets put on us. Like that is what I would love.
No, I would love that too. I think that'll be. Listen to me. I'm giving. Hey guys, I'm giving y'all some advice for season three, child. So if you ain't paying attention, pay attention. Okay. So moving on to that, um, I want to talk about Amir's girlfriend.
I knew it. Trying to get me in trouble.
I gotta sit before I talk about Amir's girlfriend, who appears that she the word on the street in DC on Giselle Bryant's Boulevard. Um uh, people are saying on Twitter that Amir's girlfriend clearly likes black men, but they don't know if she knows how to form friendships with black women. There's been a lot of things we've been seeing with her that appears to be a little interesting about her behavior and comments. What are your thoughts on her?
Shady. You know, I I really can't speak because I really don't know her well. So I think that may have been my third time meeting her. So I can't really speak to her politics or anything like that, just who she is. I can be honest because my thing is I study culture, gender, and sexuality, like race, gender, and sexuality. So even watching it back, I cringed on quite a few moments. There were just some moments that I hated to watch, honestly. And Candace and I did an Instagram live about this because a lot of viewers kept commenting, and it was clear that they had some feelings. And I know folks get really frustrated with people using the word microaggressions, but if you Black and you hang around Black folks and you've had some interaction with white folks, you know what it is, right? Like if there's the white person touching the Black person's hair, if there are particular comments like that, if there are there are just certain things that my dog is really trying to get in the camera. There are just certain things that you just know to tread lightly on if you do hang around Black folks or have hung around Black folks. And I didn't see that come up, and I didn't see it handled with care. And I imagine she's not doing well after seeing some of the comments. There's been a lot of comments. I've stumbled on them myself. But I really do, and I'm not even just saying this, but I really do hope there's a pause for introspection. Like everybody ain't lying on you, and there has to be like something where you're like, man, I messed up. Like there's something I did that triggered people. There's things I didn't even know I was doing probably. And I want people to get there.
Have you heard from Amir about how he's been feeling about
Yeah.
what they're saying about his girlfriend?
Yeah. I mean, like, I think he just doesn't understand really. And I'm trying to like talk to him about why, like what is going on. Because Amir has admitted from last season, especially, he's admitted that he doesn't really have like a lot of Black friends in Texas, et cetera. So there are things naturally I figure he wouldn't understand. Like my life is Black folks all the time, right? Like so, like I get that there are some things naturally. We grew up differently. I grew up in all Black environments, et cetera. But so I can spot it instantly. Things that I know he may kind of struggle spotting through. So I'm not trying to like hold his hand through it, but I have to like respect that he's like, I actually don't know what's happening. And I'm like, y'all messed up and here's why. Like friend to friend, I have to tell you, like, this is what's going on, and this is you should address it and not be so defensive. And here's how you take steps to address it.
That's what I love about this show too, because I feel like one thing you guys do well is you hold each other accountable and try to explain the situation, and you guys address things hit on. So I'm hopeful that Amir and his girlfriend at least understand, just based on one thing. Listen, the beauty of television is you get to watch yourself and be like, oh, I didn't know I was like that. It's a
Right.
lot, like you said, some introspection that could happen. And my hope is that they both feel that way too. What I loved about this season 2 was your choice into really diving more into your personal life. My condolences to you about your father.
Thank
Uh,
you.
do you have any regrets not going to the funeral?
No, no. And in fact, because honestly, the relationship with my father's side is even worse. I know it was the right decision. It's not good, and it's not even better.
Based on the show, you think? The episode?
No, I just think they all need some couch time. And I don't think they're going to invest in it. So, you know, it's best for me to just distance myself from whatever is going on with them.
I'm sorry to hear that.
No, I appreciate that.
What I love though, I love your fiance.
Oh, me too.
He seems so sweet and just like super supportive of you.
Yes.
Talk to me about that because one thing, and I'm sure you've seen a lot of this, one thing we don't see a lot of on television is Black queer relationships when it comes to two Black men. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of people on social media, they feel like when a Black man enters the space of Hollywood, when a gay Black man, excuse me, enters
Yep.
the space of Hollywood, they're never with a Black man. Um,
Right.
so the representation that you show with just bringing him on, I thought was great. Not just for us to see it, but like it was just great for
Oh,
representation.
yeah.
Were you conscious of that when you decided to show that part of your life?
Yeah, I was, but also I will never and have never dated anyone but Black men. So like, yeah, I'm just like, I'm sorry. Like I just it's too much to explain. I can't, I am not doing it. So, but so that part was like, oh, I mean, clearly. What was funny was some people tweeted me, people are shady. They were like, who they was, I was so nervous. I thought Preston was gonna be with a white man. I was like, what? I said, do you even know anything about me? And they were like, no, but to your point, they were like, when we do see Black gay men on TV, you know, they do have a non-Black partner usually. So I was very conscious of that. But to be honest, Donald truly is the sweetest thing. Like when Nick said Donald is the happiest person he knows, like it is true, like he is always happy. Like, and so, you know, even the moments where we were like, okay, is this worth a debate? Probably not. Let's order some food. Like, but that is really just us. Like we, you know, we don't really, I know people probably think it's weird. We just don't really argue like that because it's like, what? Why? We also have like a 24-hour rule where it's like, if I'm actually like, let's take 24 hours, and if I'm no longer angry, then it was probably me and not you. Right. There's like these different moments where it's like, okay, you know, because you're going into a relationship, it's two different people joining together, you're bringing all your stuff in with you, you know, so you're being triggered every day by small things, especially when you move together. Like there's so many things that could happen. But all that to say, I'm just grateful to like for people to see our relationship, right? Like you don't obviously get to see like the ins and outs, but just the visibility of two Black gay men kissing on TV, it means a lot.
No,
But
it
yeah,
does. It does. And I love that you're showing that. And like I said, he just seems so sweet. And when me and you are alike in the sense of like big personalities. When we walk into a room, we own it. We just have that quality. And the partner that works best for people like you and I are reserved. They're like, this is your thing. They're
yeah, yep,
they're,
yeah.
they're the voice of reason in our lives. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yep, yep. Because I'll be
right?
like, let me tell you what. He was okay, relax first. I'm like, all right. But you know what's funny? Donald is an introvert, but when I tell you no one turns up like Donald, though, like he will turn up and they will be knocked out right in the couch, like you saw. Like that is him through and through. That is really him through and through. But that is why I love him. He is very supportive. Like he made it clear. Like we were dating a couple of years before the show even became up for either one, for me especially, but eventually for us. And so this was not part of our journey. And so honestly, he could have been like, I'm good. If this is the direction you want to take, then take it. But I don't want to be public in this way. But he didn't. He was just like, if this is the journey you want to go on, let's go it together and we'll figure it out together. And so that's what I really appreciate. So when he came on, he made clear, like, I'm just here to have fun. Like, keep me out of the mess, keep me out of the drama. I'm here to have fun.
I love that. Is all of your cast members invited to your wedding?
Yeah, actually, right now they will be, but things can shift and change. But you know, but you know, I say that because I really, no matter how much shade we throw, no matter how much like people, I mean, only two people may have some feelings about me right now, to be honest. Like I'm close with the vast majority of my castmates. But even then, for me, it's stuff like that is so temporary. Like the anger is so temporary that it's like I would hate to make this lifelong decision of us remembering each other at our wedding, than like rest on this like temporary moment. Like it just doesn't feel healthy and it doesn't feel mature. So yes, right now everyone is invited.
Okay.
No.
Last question. You take your first reunion.
Yes.
Now look, honey, as a reality TV fan like you are, to have a reunion, I'm pretty sure you was like, okay, because you understand the assignment.
Mm-hmm. Look.
Now, keep it real with your boy, your big
Yeah.
brother. Did you go in with some rehearsed reads?
I did not. I can answer that immediately. Listen, I'm a Black gay man. I don't need to rehearse no reads. So like, it's coming, it's coming. Like, and in fact, what I can say to you, Carlos, is you'll know that I haven't rehearsed, because if someone will say something to me, I'm like, what? Like it's very immediate. Like, so
Okay. Okay. Before I found out the reunion was going to be at the clubhouse,
oh
I
yeah.
said next to Andy should be you and Jasmine. Because
Yeah.
to me, y'all the force multipliers of the show.
I think that makes sense. Yeah.
Right? Okay, besides yourself,
Yeah.
who gave a great performance at the reunion? Like who are you
Mm.
like, okay, bitch. Okay.
Yeah. Honestly, even though I think she was a little shady, I think Jasmine. Yeah, I think Jasmine. You know what? There's something I have to respect about someone who is going to say the thing. Even if it feels shady or a little nasty, just as long as you can take it back. Right. Like I can't lie. At one point I was like, ew, and that's why I was like, you know what? Respect. Respect, actually. So, but honestly, so I think who did the best, to be honest, just what I'm remembering is, I would say, me, Jasmine, Noelle,
Oh.
Summer did what she was supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? That could be good or bad, but
Another like,
Summer definitely, she did not hold back. That's what I'll say. She did not hold back. Um, those are the ones, and I think I appreciated, I will say, the conversation between Jordan and Jasmine.
okay.
Yeah, I don't know how everything gonna look and people gonna feel, but I think it was the start of a healthy conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any regrets, like doing reality television and
No,
being and
I
being
don't.
being like you're famous? You know what I'm saying?
No, like, yeah, I mean, maybe like a C+ lister, but like no.
You get stopped when you walk down the street now,
Oh
Preston.
my God, yes. And it is, even the cast makes a joke about this too, because I guess because I have the most consistent aesthetic. So like you'll always see me with the hat, maybe some shades. People, like, the joke is always, they'll probably notice Preston first, and then they'll notice us if we're around each other.
That
And
makes
that, and that, so like when we were all just in New York, when I tell you, we got stopped so much, like it was honestly the sweetest thing. But I don't think I've ever experienced as much love as I got until I went to Philly. It was wild. I'm not like, shout out to Philly for real, because this is around the same time. It was mostly like DC Black or Philly Black Pride, Penn Relays. When I tell you, there was one moment, it was 4 Black women in the car, and they were stopped at a red light. I was crossing the street to walk back to my hotel. Someone rolled down the window, was like, that's Preston. And literally, I ran over to their car, and they were just taking pictures, like with me outside the car. It was the sweetest moment. And yeah, that's it's been so much love, and I've been so grateful. But here's the thing, right? I didn't have to get picked for TV. There's something that Truly saw in me. There's something that Bravo saw in me, and and honestly, I can be very. I think if you just looked at my resume, there's no way TV will make sense for me. And so I'm just grateful they saw beyond the accolades, right? And saw that there's someone who could be dynamic and funny, and yes, occasionally shady, but like someone who just felt relatable. And that just meant a lot to me.
No, and listen, as your gay Black godfather,
I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it. Look.
I'm teasing. No, I'm really proud of you, and I want you to know that I'm very, very proud of you. You do a great job at representing us very well. Not that you need all that pressure to do so, or that was your assignment. I'm just saying, as a openly gay Black man who fights every day for recognition and for more of us to be seen in front of the camera, I want you to hear from me, job well done. And we're proud of you. The community is proud of you. You are stellar, and just continue to be you and be authentic. And my advice to you, Preston, is just to like cherish every single moment.
No.
Make sure you save your money. Make
Yes.
sure you and look, you make sure you take this opportunity and you
No.
springboard that into other things so that you're able to like create generational wealth for you, your man, and your future family. Okay.
No, that means a lot. You should know as we're wrapping up that one of the things I share with a really good friend of mine, his name is Carlos, actually Carlos Harris, but he's one of my best friends. And one of the things that I share with him, I was like, I know this will mean something if Carlos King knows who I am, truly, like seriously. Because a lot of us may not share with you, but we look up to you. We look up to your opinions, your jokes, your shade, your humor around reality TV, right? Like it's not, I mean, it's a lot of people out there doing it, but no one does it quite like you. So like, I just really want to say thank you for that, for providing that space for us to even be on this platform.
No. Well, thank you, baby. I love you. And listen,
Really?
listen, we'll do this in person once you
Yes.
get to season three,
Yes.
because we know that's happening. But no, I love you,
Okay.
brother.
Love you.
Congratulations. And everybody, Summer House Martha's Vineyard. Please, please, please watch this show. It's a fantastic show. It's funny, it's shady, it's messy, but it's also thought-provoking and it's emotional and it's interesting. And it comes on every
Yes.
single Sunday night at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern, right after an all new episode of The Real Housewives of New Jersey. So please, please, please check this show out if you haven't. And catch it on Peacock as
Yes.
well on Monday, child.
Yes.
Okay? Y'all hung over from brunch on Sunday, child. Y'all can watch it on Peacock on Monday. And the best thing about Peacock, child, it be uncensored and you can hear the curse words, child. So if you ratchet and a dime in the rough like me and Mariah, then you're gonna love it. Okay? All right. Love you,
Love
Preston.
you. Thank you.